Welcome! Today, let's explore the world of gluten, a fascinating part of so many foods we love. It's a topic that sparks curiosity, inspires new recipes, and fills our grocery stores with exciting choices. But what is gluten really? Why do we hear so much about it? And what makes it such an interesting part of our diets? Gluten is a word that pops up everywhere, on menus, in conversations, and across food labels. It's become a symbol of choice and discovery in the world of nutrition. For some, gluten is a fascinating ingredient, one that brings people together at the table and adds texture and flavor to our favorite foods. For others, it's a bit of a mystery, something to learn about, to ask questions, and to explore with an open mind. That's what makes food science so exciting. You'll spot gluten everywhere, on packaging, in recipes, and in the buzz of health food aisles. Gluten-free. Labels are everywhere, offering more options and empowering us to make choices that fit our lifestyles. But gluten isn't an enemy. It's simply a part of the amazing variety of foods we can enjoy and learn about. So, what is gluten really all about? Is it something to fear, or is it simply a fascinating part of our food story? Let's find out together. For most of us, the answer is a joyful yes. Gluten can be part of a happy, healthy life. Science shows that the vast majority of people can enjoy gluten without worry. Gluten's story is one of biology and chemistry, of how our bodies work and how food brings us together. It's not about danger, it's about discovery. Gluten is a natural part of many delicious foods. Imagine you're a food detective, on a quest to uncover the secrets of what we eat. Gluten is your next clue, a key part of the puzzle in understanding nutrition. The scene of discovery? Your digestive system, where food and science meet. Like any good investigator, we look at the facts, exploring, learning, and enjoying the process. We focus on knowledge, not rumors, on curiosity, not fear. For most of human history, gluten was simply food, a staple enjoyed in cultures around the world. It's what gives bread its wonderful texture and that satisfying bite we all love. And pasta, that perfect springy feel. And cereals, the start of many bright mornings. The recent gluten-free trend is all about choice and awareness, giving us more ways to enjoy food. It's a modern movement, fueled by curiosity and the desire to understand what we eat. Sometimes it comes from confusion, but that's where science steps in to help us learn. Our goal? To separate fact from fiction, and empower you with knowledge to make the best choices for your own health and happiness. For a small number of people, gluten can cause real health challenges like celiac disease. For everyone else, it's just another protein, a natural part of a balanced, joyful diet. So, let's begin our journey. Together, we'll dive into the science of gluten and discover the wonders of what we eat. So, what exactly is gluten? It's a term we hear often, especially when discussing food sensitivities or dietary choices. But beyond the buzzwords, what is it really? Well, it's not one single solitary thing. Instead, it's a complex family of related proteins, a diverse group that shares similar characteristics and functionalities. Within this family, the main players are glutenin and gliadin. These two are the key components that give gluten its unique properties. These proteins are primarily found in wheat, but also in barley and rye, making them common ingredients in many of our staple foods. Now, what happens when you add water to flour, which naturally contains gluten? And then you knead it, working the dough with your hands. These gluten proteins begin to form a complex, interconnected, and elastic network. It's this network that's responsible for the texture and structure of so many baked goods. This network is what gives bread its characteristic chew, that satisfying resistance when you bite into a slice. And it also lets it rise, creating those airy pockets that make bread so light and enjoyable. It does this by trapping gas bubbles produced by yeast during fermentation. Without gluten, the structure collapses, and bread would be dense and crumbly, lacking that desirable texture. Gluten, therefore, is the very reason pizza dough stretches so effortlessly, allowing chefs to create those thin, crispy crusts we love. And it's why cookies have that satisfying bite, that perfect balance between chewiness and crispness. It's a natural, essential part, playing a crucial role in the structure and texture of countless foods, of many beloved foods, from crusty breads to delicate pastries. Now, let's delve a little deeper. Proteins like gluten, at their most basic level, are made of amino acids, the fundamental building blocks of all proteins. Think of them as beads on a string, each bead representing a different amino acid. When we eat, our bodies break down most proteins into these individual beads, these amino acids, which are then absorbed and used to build and repair our own tissues. But gluten is different. It's particularly tough and resilient. Its high proline and glutamine content, specific types of amino acids, makes it inherently resistant to full digestion, posing a challenge for our bodies. As a result, our digestive system can only break gluten into smaller pieces, called peptides, short chains of amino acids. For most people, the vast majority, these peptides are harmless, causing no adverse reactions. They are simply processed and pass through the body without incident. But for some individuals, a smaller percentage of the population, these undigested fragments of gluten are where the trouble starts, triggering a cascade of reactions within the body. Let's take a closer look and see what happens next in the digestive system. Let's follow a bite of pretzel as it begins its incredible voyage through the digestive system. We're about to witness a fascinating process, a journey that transforms a simple snack into energy and nutrients, on its journey through the complex and winding pathways of your body. It's a trip filled with chemical reactions, muscular contractions, and a whole lot of biological machinery working in perfect harmony. The first stop is the mouth, where chewing breaks food down into smaller, more manageable pieces. This mechanical digestion is crucial for increasing the surface area, making it easier for enzymes to do their work. As you chew, saliva starts digesting starches, initiating the chemical breakdown of carbohydrates. Saliva contains amylase, an enzyme specifically designed to target and break down these complex sugars. However, saliva doesn't do much for proteins like gluten, but not gluten. Gluten, the protein found in wheat, requires a different set of enzymes and a more acidic environment to begin its breakdown.
Swallow, and the chewed food, now called a bolus, begins its descent.
The food travels to the stomach, propelled by rhythmic contractions of the esophagus, a muscular tube connecting the mouth to the stomach. This process, called peristalsis, ensures the food moves in one direction only. Once inside the stomach, the food encounters a highly acidic environment, where acid and pepsin, a powerful enzyme, get to work on breaking down proteins. The stomach churns and mixes the food with these gastric juices, creating a thick, acidic soup. Pepsin starts breaking gluten, targeting the peptide bonds that hold the protein together. This process breaks it into smaller fragments, initiating the digestion of this complex protein. But pepsin can't completely finish the job of breaking down gluten into its individual amino acid components. It can't finish the job. The stomach acts like a demolition crew, breaking down the complex food structures into simpler forms. This process leaves behind gluten rubble, smaller pieces of the original protein. These smaller pieces are called peptides. After a few hours of churning and mixing, the food is transformed into a semi-liquid substance called chyme, a soupy mix ready for the next stage of digestion in the small intestine. So far, this digestive process is the same for everyone. The initial stages of breaking down food are universal. There are no alarms, no immune response triggered at this stage, no alarms, no immune response. The gluten peptides, though partially broken down, remain mostly intact as complex molecules. These peptides continue their journey, moving on to the next phase of digestion. The chyme, with its stubborn gluten fragments, is now ready for the small intestine. The soupy mixture now enters the small intestine, the primary site for nutrient absorption. Here's where the story changes, where individual differences in our digestive systems begin to play a significant role. This is where the digestive process starts to diverge for some people. For most individuals, the journey continues smoothly, with further digestion and absorption occurring without incident. The process unfolds without drama, and the gluten peptides are eventually broken down and absorbed. But for a few individuals, those with sensitivities or conditions like celiac disease, the real action is about to begin, triggering an immune response and potential inflammation. Let's see what happens next as the chyme enters the small intestine. We're about to explore the critical events that unfold in the small intestine, where the fate of these gluten peptides is determined. The paths of digestion will soon diverge, leading to different outcomes for different people. Welcome to the small intestine, the main site of digestion and absorption. Here, enzymes from the pancreas and bile break down food further. Most people's bodies snip gluten peptides down enough to be harmless. The intestinal wall, covered in villi and microvilli, absorbs nutrients. Tight junctions between cells keep large particles like gluten peptides out of the bloodstream. For most, gluten peptides pass through and are excreted, no harm done. But if the gut's gatekeepers fail, or the immune system misidentifies gluten, trouble starts. For those with celiac disease or non-celiac gluten sensitivity, the immune system reacts. The small intestine becomes a battleground. If you're enjoying this video, Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more science content. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. For about 1% of people, gluten triggers celiac disease, an autoimmune disorder. The immune system mistakes gluten for a threat and attacks the small intestine's own tissue. The main target is an enzyme called tissue transglutaminase, TTG. The immune system produces antibodies against both gluten and TTG, damaging the intestinal lining. This leads to inflammation and destruction of villi, reducing nutrient absorption. Symptoms range from digestive distress to anemia and fatigue. The only treatment: a strict, lifelong gluten-free diet. Removing gluten calms the immune system and allows healing. For people with celiac disease, gluten-free isn't a trend, it's a medical necessity. For them, gluten is a real, proven threat. Now let's talk about something important: non-celiac gluten sensitivity, or NCGS. People with NCGS often have symptoms like bloating and fatigue after eating gluten, but don't have celiac disease or a wheat allergy. The cause isn't fully understood. There's no autoimmune attack or intestinal damage. Some research suggests a rapid immune response or sensitivity to FODMAPs, not necessarily gluten itself. Diagnosing NCGS is tricky. It's a diagnosis of exclusion. Symptoms improve on a gluten-free diet and return with gluten. The science is still evolving, but for some, gluten-containing foods can cause real discomfort. Always consult a healthcare professional before making major dietary changes. So, what's the final verdict? Gluten isn't inherently bad for everyone. For most people, it's a harmless protein our bodies handle just fine. The gluten-free trend is driven more by marketing than science. Unnecessary gluten-free diets can be costly and less nutritious. Celiac disease and NCGS are real but rare. Only avoid gluten if you have a medical reason. Whole grains with gluten are excellent sources of fiber and nutrients. Don't let fear keep you from enjoying bread or pasta. The story of gluten is about science, not fads. Listen to your body and the evidence. For most, gluten is just another part of a healthy diet. Case closed. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and join our community. See you in the next video.